Here now with a little bit more on how all of this might impact the 2020 race is Bruce Mehlman. Bruce is the founder of Mehlman, Castagnetti, Rosen, and Thomas, which is a group of bipartisan lobbyists based at our nation's capital. Bruce, it's good to see you again. I know you've done some writing and some research on this topic, and one of your famous slideshows that I was looking through, and it's interesting about whether it really will be a referendum on capitalism this 2020 election. Is that how you're seeing it now?
Well, it's certainly the administration and the White House's desire to make the choice in 2020 between capitalism and socialism. Notwithstanding some of the data points on how millennials poll, overwhelmingly Americans embrace capitalism as a market-successful system and one that's helped make America great. We'll see if the Democrats oblige. If they give them Bernie Sanders, it is a capitalism versus socialism election.
Even if they don't, right, some would argue that some of those other candidates at least are to the left of what we associate with a kind of quote-unquote normal Democrat, right? Maybe obvious exceptions, Joe Biden and others, but there are some pretty far left folks in there.
I think both parties are facing civil wars right now. On the Democrat side, you have the woke progressive left calling for reparations, calling for free college, calling for the Green New Deal, calling for wealth taxes and higher income taxes. But remember, the candidates who won the midterms for the Democrats were pretty moderate from the industrial Midwest. And so it's a party at war with itself. Speaker Pelosi's actually been pretty successful as a traffic cop so far. As
she has. As all of this gets into the news, though, are you making an argument that maybe some of it's overdone, that, you know, especially on the left, forget about the Republicans for a minute, we know who the nominee there is, but on the left, is some of this overdone, that they're moving all the way left, that socialism is creeping in, that the voters maybe aren't there, even if the candidates are?
I think only some of the candidates are, and in a field of, last time I counted, 400 people running for the nomination,
exactly.
They got to try to stand out. But I don't think the party is ultimately going to be the socialist party or genuinely embrace systemic change. What I think we're seeing the start of in 2020 is a decade of disruption and a decade of debate over reform. Clearly the capitalist system's working, but at the same time, changes in globalization, changes in technology, changes in demographics suggest it's not working as well as it needs to.
Yeah, and you hear from hedge fund managers, most notably like a Ray Dalio, saying that, you know, you need change, and all those types of things we've covered over the past few months. What about a quick word, though, on the Republicans? If President Trump wins in 2020, wins re-election, how does that Republican Party, you said he wants to make it a referendum on capitalism, we get that, but how does the Republican Party look different versus if he loses? Is this a big election just for the future of that party as well?
I think it is a big election for the future of the Republican Party. If the president's reelected, he certainly cements the realignment and the changes that he's been driving. It's a more populist party. It's a less globalist party. Should he lose, I think you'll see a lot of Republicans returning to efforts to broaden the base. A party that is non-college, white, male, and older is just doesn't fit with the census tables.
Would go back to like the old country club Republican type of stuff, and free trade would come back, and you forget all the tariff stuff. Would it really, or is the kind of the I don't know what the analogy is. The train left the station, I guess, on that.
I don't think the party will return to to 15 years ago, perhaps. I think the party will need different and new answers on trade and on the economy. But at the end of the day, part of President Trump's appeal in 2016 was those who'd been left behind.
Oh, yeah.
His answers have been reduced immigration, reduced trade. I think you're going to see alternative Republican answers, but the problems he identified are the right problems to focus on.
Bruce, good analysis. As always, good to see you today. Thanks for coming on.